Of all the symbols in Hollywood, few are as instantly recognizable as the snow-capped peak of the Paramount Mountain. It is a silhouette that has presided over a century of storytelling, representing the very architecture of the American film industry. But the story of Paramount isn't just a story of movies. It is the story of how a small group of ambitious men turned a basement business into a global cultural titan. The origins of Paramount are rooted in the vision of Adolf Zukor. In the early 1910s, films were essentially sideshow novelties, rarely exceeding 10 minutes in length. Zukor, a Hungarian immigrant with a keen business instinct, believed people would pay to see feature-length films if they were of high enough quality. In 1912, he founded the famous Players Film Company. By 1916, he merged his company with the Jesse L. Lasky Feature Play Company and a distribution entity called Paramount Pictures. Under Zukor's leadership, Paramount pioneered the block booking system, forcing theaters to buy a slate of films to get the big hits. While controversial, the strategy worked. It turned Paramount into the industry's first true national powerhouse. Paramount thrived by inventing the star system. They didn't just make movies, they manufactured icons. During the 1920s and 30s, Paramount became known as the Studio of Dreamers. They were the home of European sophistication and American whimsy alike, boasting a roster that included legends like Marlene Dietrich and the comedic duo of Hope and Crosby. It was during this era that Paramount moved its operations to the sprawling lot on Melrose Avenue in Hollywood, a site they occupy to this day. Throughout the 1940s, directors like Cecil B. DeMille turned the studio into a hub for epic, large-scale spectacles, setting the gold standard for what cinema could accomplish on a massive budget. Yet, no empire is immune to the turning of the tide. In 1948, the Supreme Court's landmark Paramount decree forced studios to sell their theater chains, breaking the vertical monopoly that had made them all-powerful. Simultaneously, the rise of television threatened the supremacy of the silver screen. Paramount struggled throughout the 50s and 60s to adapt to changing audience tastes. It wasn't until the late 60s and early 70s, a period known as New Hollywood, that the studio found its footing again. By embracing auteur directors and gritty, realist stories, Paramount birthed masterpieces like The Godfather and Chinatown. These films proved that the studio could evolve, shifting from a factory-line production model to a home for creative, director-driven vision. As the 1980s dawned, Paramount leaned into the modern blockbuster. Working alongside visionary producers and directors, the studio defined a generation of pop culture. From the high-octane thrills of Top Gun to the genre-defining Raiders of the Lost Ark, Paramount mastered the art of the franchise. In the decades that followed, the studio continued to diversify. Through the Mission, Impossible, and Transformers series, they secured their place as a titan of global box office revenue. Despite being acquired by Viacom and later undergoing various corporate restructurings, Paramount's core identity remained: a commitment to the big movie experience that brings audiences into theaters. Today, as the industry faces the new frontiers of streaming and digital distribution, Paramount continues to navigate the shifting sands of media. Whether through their legendary archives or their contemporary investments in prestige television and global cinema, the studio remains a pillar of entertainment history. For over a century, that mountain has stood tall. It serves as a reminder that behind every great film, there is a legacy defined by risk, innovation, and an enduring belief in the power of the projector's beam.